Welcome everyone to the Chill Zone podcast. This is episode 4. I'm your host Wyatt. To my left is Gabe, and to my right is Scott. It's
Hello.
just us three, unfortunately. There is no Vish because he decided basketball was more important. I think it was basketball.
Isn't he seeing a baseball game right now?
Basketball is apparently more important.
Basketball. To be fair.
Oh, yeah.
To be fair, after this last week,
It's been a rough week. We'll get into that soon, though.
I do not. This is not going to be...
No.
This is not going to be some
everyone
fun hockey.
doing?
My lawyer had advised me to not to speak on the that topic.
The laugh is fake. The tears are real. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been better
right now. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to say right now. I'm
For
glad I'm not in the U.S.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. So, being you're in Brazil, did you end up watching the Sao Paulo Grand Prix by any chance? It was an absolute shit show. It was marvelous.
Absolute shit show. Loved it. Interlagos always delivers because there's always like weird torrential rain, and it like stops and starts, and you get weird.
Yeah.
And it has weird turns and long straights, so you just end up with a really bizarre race of just like things going off very wrong. There's hairpin. There, you start off with like a downhill winding ass hairpin turn. It's bizarre and one of my favorite sections in any racing track. But yeah,
just watch the highlights.
If you didn't watch it, and you call yourself watch the highlights. If you like Formula 1, always go and watch the Brazil
it almost
Grand
always
Prix.
delivers.
That's always a fun one.
I was going to just quickly say one of the most iconic photo shots is Max Verstappen going for his qualifying lap last year, and all you see is black from a thunderstorm. It was so dark, but getting a little distracted and all that, but whatever. It's not like we have any games to talk about. Oh wait, we do, unfortunately. So we might as well get underway with the first game, which was the Snooze Islanders. Unfortunately. Gotta love the absolute muck that is Islanders hockey. They've been doing it for years, and they really haven't changed. So,
Deeply
unpleasant to watch. Gabe, you want to take us through the game?
Surely, I'll do it. I don't think anyone wants to talk about Islander hockey.
Yeah, it was not good.
The full of shit. The Jackets peppered every once in with a bunch of chances. Their goalie, Sorokin, who decided that this is a good time to stand on my head, and it was just
Varlamov. Yeah,
it was actually Varlamov.
No, it was Varlamov. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I forgot the name of it. Send the name of the other goalie. No, Varlamov. And Varlamov decided, you know what? I'm going to be a starter because he's actually like a good goalie. Not always, but he's
37 now.
He's like
or something.
Yeah, he's
36,
37.
37.
No
It's one of the two.
He's old. Yeah, he's just old and is like happy to play back up to
his record against us was like 6-0-1 or something with a 940 save percentage. It was stupid.
Yeah,
it's absurd. It's absurd.
It's stupid, and he always decides to stand on his set against us, so he did. And then after the first period, which I thought we controlled it, we started like losing effort, and it was just effort and energy. And it was just like, congratulations on playing the Islanders, boys. It's going to be an uphill battle. You're skating uphill both ways. And it was... I'm very glad that Elvis didn't let anything in. Because the minute the Islanders had one goal, and the Islanders have one MO with their goal scoring, you pass it to a guy in the rear, and he shoots, and you hope
That's
for
all they were going for the entire time.
That is it. And you try yeah, shoot, go, hope for deflection. If that doesn't work, try and bury the puck up close. And like nothing else. They had nothing else in terms of what they would do. Unpleasant hockey to watch. I'm just glad this wasn't with the Torch Red Jackets. Otherwise, I might as well have gone to bed. Because that would just be, oh, dude. The very deeply unpleasant game, and then Severson with a weird shot from a really hard angle, really obtuse shot, just goes in, and those Islanders were not going to score. We got a shutout, and late on, Danforth scoring an empty netter to make it 2-0. Classic versus the Islander games. Absolutely just a horrible, horrible, terrible game for all involved. If you did not... I feel like this must be one of those games where like the highlight reel is 2 minutes. There was nothing.
If that. I was at the game, and I did. If my dad hadn't been there to talk to, I would have fallen asleep. It was just, and it was sloppy. It was just sloppy on both sides. Like you could tell, the Jackets also just didn't know how to handle the Islanders completely clogging everything up. None of the shots were getting through. Like nothing was coming in. No hard chances. No. Nothing really, like no offense. Even the Islanders, we got the attempts here, 52-72 in favor of the Islanders, but I couldn't have told you those numbers at the end of the game. That like half their attempts were far off shots that ping ponged around, and then
it's one of those things where it's like you look at just the attempts and you be like, oh, the Islanders dominated. They really didn't. It's just they just threw shit at the net and hoped that it would end up going on the net.
Shots from the blue line, hoping for a deflection, and if it turns into a rebound,
and they
try to bury it.
At that.
And it's like, is this the only thing you can do? Can none of you here do a wrist shot?
And then he got hurt.
Well, Barzal can. And then we took him out because we like injuring other team stars. Apparently, even our goal. Even our goal was not actually scored by Severson.
Yeah.
The goal went in off of an
straight through Varlamov. That's the only way you were going to beat Varlamov is friendly fire.
He was doing. I mean, like, yes, it was clogged up. They weren't getting like
the ones that they were getting
chances, but like Varlamov was good. Yeah, he was stopping what was there, but slow
not
game,
fun.
Sloppy game. Kind of a garbage game to watch in general. Take the 2 points and move on.
The most amazing thing was, nobody will ever watch that game again. But the most amazing thing is Elvis had 2 good games in a row, which is the first time we could say that in at least 3 years.
Yep. Yeah. And the good energy lasted
2 days
for.
Yeah.
Couple days.
Before until Winnipeg showed up.
Till Winnipeg
we
showed
knew
up.
It was going to be like an uphill battle. But we were hoping, like, hey, if it's a good game, then hey, we got potential. That didn't happen. But before the game actually started, I was expressing concern because they were saying that they were going to play Elvis again. I'm like, you're already risking it with 2 good games with Elvis. You're really risking it trying to see if you can get a third good game out of him, and lo and behold, he did not deliver. But, the Winnipeg game, it was pretty much straight away you could tell that the Jackets were not going to win that game. They were getting dominated with puck possession, puck battles. Anytime they got the puck, Winnipeg was all over the puck handler, causing them to turn it over or like just throw a pass to somebody, and just they could not do much of anything. And it got pretty ugly pretty quick because Ehlers scored twice in the first. Crowley did end up responding in between both Ehlers goals to make it 1-1, give us like some hope. But I think the shots were like 8 won already with that. It was bad. And then the second period was just pretty much all Winnipeg. Other than Monahan scoring on a power play, which, we take that. It was a very nice wrist shot by Renski and beautiful tip. And then just to add to the misery, Ehlers got a hat trick by the second period. And then the third period, it was well and truly over. Scott, you got anything to add to that?
No, I mean, same thing. Like, here's the one stat. Like, if you want to look at advanced stats, the one thing that'll tell you all you need to know about this game: 5v5, expected goals for, 3.97 for the Jets, 1.02 for the Jackets. Like that. That's all. Like, you look at that stat line, you're like, okay, cool. I know what happened this game. Yeah, it was just It was a rough game in a different way from the clunker they had in Minnesota earlier, I feel like, because in Minnesota they weren't on their game. They weren't like it's not that Minnesota was really shutting them down. It's that the Blue Jackets weren't playing well. Here it felt like they weren't playing great, but it really did feel
it just felt like they're
completely outmatched. Yep.
On an analysis level, it was just a matter of depth.
Yeah, depth, and we have a ton of it. For the first time, it looked like our crap ton of injuries finally caught up with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we only had one line, really doing anything.
We were relying on what is essentially, you've got a line full of kids.
Mm-hmm.
In your second line, welcome to the school bus, everybody. You've got the first line, which is fine. You've got the third line, which is really a fourth line, and you've got the fourth line, which is really a fourth line. You look at that in Winnipeg, and it's just why do you think you're ever going to beat Winnipeg?
There's not a single line matchup you win there. I mean, even you can put up. Mm-hmm. We could have put out our top line against their second line, and hopes
at
maybe
best
we get a
it
matchup.
was
No.
Yeah, at best it was just going to be
that
a
wasn't
going
to happen. Yeah, this was the first. I felt like this was the first time this season you really felt how understaffed this roster is as far as high end talent goes, and how young they are. I thought Fantilli struggled this game. I thought he really struggled with getting shut down that hard by Winnipeg, along with the whole team, obviously. But it was noticeable with, I think, some of the younger players. And, best team in the league, came in hot, dominated us.
No.
Elvis wasn't saving us anywhere, so... Again,
yeah, I think that's literally what they said.
Move on, right?
Throwing away that tape, we're not bothering to really look at it. I think Everson did actually end up looking at it and was disgusted at what he saw. So we got that shelling, and then the very next day we get the Capitals, and oh boy, did we not show up at all. At least in the first period.
Well, the beginning was the first. It was a weird game because after that it was fine, if not not great. But the Capitals sucked the pedal off, and Tarasov just laid a giant egg.
He didn't have a chance. I mean, he wasn't good. Don't get me wrong. Anytime you're 5 shots in and 5 goals, I think is what it was. Something along those lines. Crazy. Anytime you're that as a goaltender, you
from what
didn't
I
have
saw,
a good game. But
I did not actually get to see
easy shots.
Most of any of this game. I was out doing stuff. But yeah, I was looking at NHL, the NHL app, and I saw the game just began. It was already 2-0. I'm like, uh-oh. And I looked after the first period. It was 5-0. I'm like,
yep.
Okay, so yeah, we've lost.
We've lost.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was watching it at work, and it was literally goal, and then I'd be like, okay, cool.
Goal.
They'll get back into this. Nope. Looked away for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Another goal, and it really was like somebody forgot to set the alarm clock, and the first goal went in, and it's like the whole team forgot any sort of structure, any sort of like defensive system. They were leaving pucks behind. They were turning pucks over like in front of the goaltender.
Yeah,
the passes weren't connecting at all.
Yeah, it just looked like
the highlights, and this did not look like a team that was connected. Mm-hmm. It was different from the Minnesota game, which was again the first like real clunker that we had, where it looked like the team did not have the energy, but they were still trying the system. This was just a day where everybody got off on the wrong foot. Nothing was working, and it was just getting absolutely punished, and it was just like, what are we doing here?
Anything.
Why are we not being able to execute basic hockey?
Yeah, it basically was just like,
level.
Hey, we're going to revert back to Brad Larson for a period.
Yeah, they forgot their system. Like that's and I think, you know, you look at these last these 2 games, and I think you can really see, one, that this is a young team, and 2, this is still like you kind of forgot off of the like 5-3-1 start, but this is a new system. This is still mostly the same team that played with 2, frankly, like garbage coaches. No offense to them as like, you know, actual
full offense
people,
to them as people. Full offense to them as coaches. Yeah. No offense to them as people.
Yeah, they're just. It was not a good time for them coaching here in Columbus. You know, regardless of their actual talent levels, but they, you know, 2 years, 2-3 years of like zero coaching, and that's still like the main core of the team is either young or has no coaching in an actual system, and they're still learning to play through this.
You're
like,
going to
structure.
have times where it's going to be like they just revert back to it because that's just what they were kind of programmed to do for the last 2-3 years. But yeah, it was just a complete stinker. That good momentum of the Jackets being 5-3-1 just evaporated in 2 days. Well, not even 2 days, 24 hours. Yeah.
Yep. Less than 24 hours.
So it didn't have great vibes. And then we got a couple days off because we're doing our currently still on the West Coast trip, which is usually CBJ time to lay over and die. It almost has been. But first game was against the actual Tank. Oh, okay.
Actually, let's talk about the practice. Because
that's good. Yeah, let's work that in here.
After, on Monday, after they come back from Washington, Dean Evanson decides, you know what? I'm gonna give him a hard ass practice. It's not gonna be a bag skate, because bag skates are just, we're gonna punish you guys, and we're not gonna let you play hockey.
Intensity.
It was just, it was apparently very high tempo. It was what if a practice had the tempo of a bag skate, and it was just like, all right, let's see what happens. Apparently he routinely called them lazy, called them out on their effort, multiple instances of swearing, and I want to ask you guys' opinions on that. They need it. What do you guys think of that action by Dean Evanson?
Bag skates, when I played, didn't really work. Because you're punishing people that had nothing to, like, did nothing wrong. And the people that were doing the wrong stuff that ended up with doing the bag skates, or making you do the bag skates, they didn't really care either. So it didn't really work. But having just a hard-ass, intense practice, making everything go high tempo and all that, I can't see why it'd be bad, other than you'll just be a little bit tired.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, and I'm also not a fan of bag practices. I just don't get the whole bag skate thing. I get the Which is funny because I spent 10 years in the military, so I know the whole punish everybody else for one person's mistake, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and it doesn't actually accomplish. Doesn't accomplish systems work. It doesn't actually work on furthering the team. It's just you guys performed poorly, so we're gonna work you. I think the thing I've noticed about, and I've really liked with Evanston so far from a consistency standpoint, is there's very much this sense of Evanston's just kind of letting players work it out themselves to a certain extent. Going back to the Capitals game for a second, he could have called a timeout when they were struggling, when they were letting in goals like nobody's business. He could have pulled Tarasov. He could have done all of these things that I think past coaches probably would have done 2-3 goals in. And I think he really didn't. He just kind of kept tossing people out and seeing what they would do. And I think this practice kind of I think there's a mentality they're trying to get to of nobody's going to help you guys out of this stuff. You guys have to learn and get in the system, play the right way, play aggressive, play hard, play fast. You have to be the one as players to drive that. The coaches can only give you the tools to do it. And I like that messaging of this is how we play hockey. You guys have to go out and play.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And just to finish up on the bag skates, I think it's just detrimental, honestly. If anything, it makes you dislike your teammates, especially if they're the ones that caused this. So, yeah. So now that we have the practice out of the way, I guess one more thing we could touch on, because it was technically in between this, and it's actually positive news, is Kent Johnson. He is skating.
Yeah.
He
is.
No sling. I wouldn't want to see him skate with a sling. That'd be a bad idea.
I would want to see him skate with a sling just out of sheer entertainment value of seeing someone skate with a sling.
But after the Monday heavy skate practice for about 30 to 45 minutes, he was skating, which is, quite positive. He's not on the West Coast trip. I mean, we didn't expect him to be. But, that's a good sign. That means he could be, a month away, which would be fantastic compared to what we were expecting, which was endgame scenario, if that makes sense. Also, Boone Jenner and Gabranson are just fully encouraged to be around the team as well, as much as possible, participating in film sessions, team meetings, and taking up the leadership role when necessary, which I think is also a very good thing, because I'm sure it sucks when you are injured and you are away from everyone, which is just a lot of lonely, it's just you be alone and you have no one really to keep you going and all that, other than, I guess, family. But, yeah, you guys have anything you want to say with that?
I also want to add that this not the first game that Voronkov
Islanders
got in the lineup. The Islanders game
came in.
Oh, or was it Winnipeg?
No, it was Winnipeg. It was Winnipeg.
He's a bad. See, with Voronkov
so
back, we're 0-2-1. Damn you, Voronkov. He is 2-1. Honestly, he looks rusty.
Yeah. No.
He looks very much rusty, and it's just a matter of he probably missed training camp, and he's trying to get up to speed on a system that he doesn't know, and it's just he probably, this is gonna be me making up excuses, but he's only been in the U.S. for a year. He doesn't speak that much English. It's not it's gonna take a little bit of a while, even if he's a good hockey mind, to get this is exactly what I should do, just out of general hockey things, because his coaches are not going to be translating things to Russian for him. His friends might.
Yeah, we do have quite a few Russian
clarification
on the team,
thing.
so if he needs translation, then it's fine.
Oh, and Elvis is a Russian speaker as well, so that helps.
Just a couple. It's fun.
Yeah.
I will say for Voronkov, I thought, and we'll get into it here when we actually go into the San Jose game, but I thought San Jose was his best game back. I think he was pretty invisible the first two.
Was.
Winnipeg and Washington just wasn't there. I real quick to circle back on Goodbranson and Boone Jenner. Not much to say on Johnson, but I find it absolutely absurd that this is even like news. Like, that this is even, that we're looking back on last year and they're talking about how people who were hurt just weren't around the room. If that's how it
so
was,
ass backwards.
like, and nobody was checking on anybody, no wonder Patrick Laine ended up like without a support system here in Columbus, because that's absurd.
That's ridiculous. That's bizarre.
Yeah, it's amazing how low the bar was that we didn't even know about until now.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the updates in between the Washington debacle and then the San Jose debacle.
Completely
I would not call
one.
San Jose debacle. I would call San Jose the expected result. This is a weeknight game at 10 p.m. Eastern time. With 10:30 p.m. Eastern time.
I saw about
on election
2
night,
minutes of this game.
Between two of the worst teams in the league. The actual Shark Tank, the San Jose
Empty.
Sharks' own barn was borderline empty. I was just like, okay, I get where this is going. This is not a game anyone's gonna want to watch, and I fell asleep watching it because it was like 2 a.m.
I had to
here.
work the next morning,
and I was doing my best to stay awake, and I could not. Did not have the energy to do it.
I watched the whole game, and let me say it was unironically, I would say it was one of their most dominant performances of the year. And
well, that is classic
like
CBJ though.
That's all you. It really is. It's what's our record, like 6-2-3 when we get
Which
more than
is
50
terrible.
shots on goal. Just like
Yeah.
you can't write it.
So Vitek Vanacek decided he wanted to go. I'm trying to remember who it was with. I think it was with Minnesota, where he just was lights out for no reason, and then he got traded. But
He was in Minnesota.
He was in Minnesota, I believe. Yeah,
Vanacek?
I'm pretty sure.
Was he really? That's gonna be crazy.
Vitek Vanacek, currently with the San Jose Sharks. He played for the Hershey Bears.
Oh no,
the
sorry, Vitek
Washington Capitals,
Vanacek.
and
Yeah,
the New Jersey Devils.
I'm thinking of Capo
Washington.
Kakkonen.
Oh yeah. Kakkonen does the same thing. He's just like
garbage
for a little bit,
81
and then every now
or
and then puts something.
95% of the season. Then he sees CBJ. He's like, unreal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Same, different name, same
Copy
goalie.
paste.
Like, you can't convince me they're two different people.
Dang, that was synchronized. All right, but yeah, Vanacek decided he was just going to be Martin Brodeur or Evgeny Nabokov if we're going to get San Jose references in. But the Blue Jackets put up a stupid 5.6 expected goals per money puck. How do you even get there?
Wow.
You put up 50 shots and a lot of high danger chances against an absolute garbage team. San Jose is bad. Bad.
San Jose makes us look good.
And then, so I'll let you talk about this, Scott, but you're the only one that was able to stay awake for this.
Fair. So we got in the notes here, LeBlanc with an unreal performance again, and I agree with that. LeBlanc, the first 2 periods at the very least, that fourth line was crazy, was nuts, just nutty good. There's some real gaudy time on ice numbers because the Blue Jackets decided in like the third period to just play the vets, quote unquote the vets. But it was the 2-1 OT win, and it was not like that was not a 2-1 game. That was Vanacek standing on his head. Elvis played well. I want to throw that in there to start with. Elvis actually did play well. There were a couple sequences. San Jose actually got some really good chances, some power play time, and he actually played well. But that was all Vanacek. And it wasn't just like, sometimes you see 50 shots.
Yeah, there's peppering.
And you think, oh, like point shots. And where the no, it was everything. Like there were chances in front of the net. There was this gorgeous Voronkov tip that I don't know how Vanacek got, because it was just like, I think around the back of Voronkov's legs. He manages to get his stick and tip the puck in on it. It was crazy. Some high-end chances. Kind of a weird
I actually haven't
Marchenko
seen it.
goal to tie things
happened?
up after San Jose scored first. Nice little rush. Shot gets in front of the net, and I've thought this for a while. Marchenko is the sloppiest skilled player I have ever seen, because he somehow ends up with the puck, and he somehow ends up with points and goals and assists. But you watch him with the puck, and you're like, how are you holding on to that? And this was kind of one of those times where the puck gets into the front of the net, and Marchenko somehow manages to
think
corral
it's
it
just
and get
the
it
way
past Vanacek.
he skates. I think that's part of it. He has a really goofy skating stride.
He's got this tendency. He does have this tendency of looking away from the puck too, where like when he's focused on the puck, he's fine, but when he's like trying to move around, sometimes it gets a little bit weird. But I when I call it one of the most dominating performances, it was like I don't know if I've seen another like it this season so far for the Blue Jackets. I thought they stayed well within
Just
their
didn't
system.
get the result.
It didn't pay off.
Of course.
OT comes around, and true Blue Jackets fashion, I thought the Blue Jackets had the better chances in OT too. A couple really good chances. I think Fantilli had a near breakaway, and then but true to form, true to form,
a former Jacket that
Alexander
refused
Wenberg
to score for us.
Yep, would not. Gorgeous goal. Honestly, he just puts on just enough speed to split the defense, curls up inside the blue line, and just kind of rifles a wrist shot top cheese. And man, it's just one of those really unfortunate games where you have them sometimes where you lose a game where you're the clear better team.
It especially happens to young teams that are trying to figure out how to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch that. Yeah. With my current mood and all that, I'm sure that would not have helped watching that OT goal. Or just that game in general. But yeah. So now that we got that just dreadful week. Yeah, dreadful week out.
Brutal week.
Just looking through some notes. Provorov leads the team on 5-on-5 ice time, which is kind of weird, especially when you have this player called Zach Werenski. But he's the only player with a negative 50% Corsi. I could definitely see that. I don't mind Provorov most of the time, but you can definitely tell Werenski's carrying him. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Yes. I mean, he's getting what do they call it, the pump and dump, so to speak. He's getting carried by Werenski a little bit, and we're hoping to get that trade value up. I've never been a huge fan of Provorov. he had a couple good years in Philly, and I think his best years were when he just kind of had the freedom to do whatever the heck he wanted, and nobody cared about him playing defensively. And the problem is here, he just he still wants to play like that, and he's just not skilled enough to do it. And he really doesn't.
He's got like 90% of that skill set, but it's that 10% he's missing. He basically wants to be Werenski, but he can't be Werenski. But what's doubly sad is as much as we shit on him most of the time, he's by far the best D partner Werenski has had since Seth Jones. And I don't even think it's truly close. Because...
Yeah. No, that's not close. Maybe
Severson but that's only for a couple games, though.
Hey, you're the numbers guy, Gabe. What do you think about Provorov here?
He's getting pumped and dumped for sure.
At least we're all in agreement with that.
He's watered stock. He is. It's very clear they're going to trade him at the end of the year. There's no reason to keep him. He was an overpaid guy who has not delivered, but is at the very least seen as a decent dude in the league in terms of being a hockey player. I'm not going to comment on anything else. He's also notable as he's like an okay defenseman. Who's got a
his
decent
contract's really not that bad. In terms
of just like, if we 50%, if we give him like a 50% retained, he goes for $2 million. And if you're sticking Provorov on like your third line or second line at $2 million, you're saying, who gives a shit? It's one thing to be sticking him in his offside. With Zach Werenski, and it's like very clear that there's probably some directive of like, I want to trade this dude, give him the metaphorical equivalent of give him ice time. I was gonna say the metaphorical equivalent of air time, but the answer of course the word there was ice time. Overall, I really don't look at it and say like this is a good situation. It's the same reason why he's still on the second power play.
No. To be honest, I don't think either him or Severson should really be.
I think Severson. I understand putting Severson there, but like put your check in.
You can even put Christensen there because he was very good in Cleveland when it came to power play.
Yeah. I understand like wanting to hold back a little bit on Christensen because he's new, and like but at the same time, and he's probably not going to be a driver. Like if you're Jirchek, this is a learning assignment. Like go on with Fantilli and Voronkov and learn how to run a power play. This is your duty now. You're not getting like the best of the best, but you're going to learn how to run a power play. Overall, it's just like, I don't want to see. This is going to sound really harsh. I don't want to see this dude anymore.
We already know what he is.
I know we're going to be seeing a lot of him. He is just one of those guys that's like, you're a jacket. I didn't want you to be a jacket. You're probably not going to be a jacket at the end of the year. At this point, whatever comes out of the numbers is just like, either he's putting up a great performance, or he's
either really, really good, or he is dog shit. Then there's no real in between with him.
Yes, and and right now he's watered stock. He's so I don't
that's
even
fair enough.
care about it.
But
yeah, I mean, if you want the exact number, not 5v5, but total ice time for Provorov. So, like, maybe a minute or two of, like, second power play time.
No, he does.
I don't actually think he plays much PK. 29-16 versus San Jose for Provorov. 31-26 for Werenski. They leaned heavily on it, And I've got a point I wanted to make real quick on that. I think, and this is, this is kind of me spitballing. This isn't, I'm not read into Evison's thought process that much. I think it was to some extent a reward for the team as a whole. Maybe not necessarily individual players. I think Evison saw how hard the team was pushing and said, okay, we're going to play this game like this is like we're getting points for a playoff race. Like, we're going to play this game and try to coach it to win. And it didn't work, but like, I understand, like, when you're trying to get points, like you're in a playoff game, when you're in, or like you're end of the season trying to make the playoffs, you're probably going to play Werenski 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, that's just what's going to happen. It didn't work. You don't have the talent for it, but like, you see the guys who did get minutes on the forward line too. You have Sillinger with over 20 minutes, Monahan with 21 minutes. Chinnikov got 19 and a half. So, and there are some young players getting some huge minutes.
It's not like Pascal Vincent,
15.
where it was just Boone Jenner, Sean Corrali, Boone Jenner, Sean Corrali, Boone Jenner, Sean Corrali.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think as much as, like, it's a one-off performance. They did mention that there's days off in between too, so there's that. But like, I think this was Evison to some extent showing the team going, hey, I'm gonna ride who's going. We're gonna try to win this game because you guys have been playing well. We're gonna push and it didn't work out, but it was a nice shift from just like, okay, well, you guys aren't playing well, I'm just gonna roll 4 lines and see who goes.
Or just we're constantly trying to win when we're 25 and 40 or whatever, and it's like, it doesn't matter. So another thing is, would you break up the Chinnikov Monahan Marchenko line? No. Me, it's no.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
I like how I immediately went for no, and I immediately just like buffered absolutely.
Yeah.
No. We got a 2v1.
You want to go here. We want to go majority first or minority?
Your democratic process women.
Well, let's go. Here's what we'll do. I'll kind of take a middle. I'm a little less firm than Gabe is, so I'll kind of take the middle ground. How about let's go with Gabe's absolutely first, and then why you can give yours, and then I'll kind of weigh in at the end here.
Yeah. Reason number 1, I think if you're relying on this is a young team with a lot of young players who may, or like, they're probably going to get traded. One of them is at minimum is probably going to get traded in the near-ish future. This is not to say that, like, oh yeah, no, they're absolutely going to ship it out. No. What that was going to take his time. He's going to analyze the team and see who's worth keeping and who's not worth keeping, and find, like, oh, this is a good deal, and maybe I have to move Chinnikov for that, or, maybe I have to move Sillinger for that, and that's going to be a consideration. But overall, if you're looking at what we have laid out in front of us, trying to keep a single line when you have the rest of the team, which doesn't have much depth at all, and you're keeping the single line, you're kind of limited in the options that you can explore and see, okay, maybe these guys have synergy, and see, like, and that's going to help you decide what you're going to do in the future. Right now, for me, this is a house money season. You are not looking at this in terms of wins. In terms of growth, you're looking at, like, how do you deliver team cohesion? Is your system better than it was last time? Can the players actually play a system? Are the players showing, a level of commitment and effort and team building in and of itself, over just like a collection of players? Are any of the players individually developing? We've seen that the answer be a yes with Ken Johnson. We've seen Fantilli be, like, very good at creating individual chances, but he's still not great at creating team chances. Cole Sillinger's fine, but will fine cut it. What about Chinnikov? Chinnikov was red hot to start, and he's cooled off since. And Marchenko was still point per game. But is this a side effect of playing with? What's the root cause there? If we change things around, is Marchenko still going to be point per game? Or is this a matter of synergy? And it's worth exploring. This is not a season where this is one of the few times that we're going to have where being able to throw out experiments and see who clicks and who doesn't is going to be a thing that we're going to be able to do without nearly as many repercussions as we would if we were in the middle of a playoff race, and then we would just be like scrambling, trying to find the people who actually work together. And if you are in the playoff race and you're scrambling to find some synergy between the players, you are screwed. You need that line to click at some point, because at that point you're just not in a good position to do anything.
Well, you do bring up some points. Yeah. What about me?
What about you?
So the reason why I don't think they should break it up is kind of what you were saying to a point. Is the minute they broke up that line, the offense stopped for the Monahan-Marchenko line, and the Chinnikov-Fantilli line didn't do shit either. So that obviously did not work. So you put Chinnikov back with Monahan and Marchenko, and it's not as good as it was, but they're still playing well, I would say, to a point. They're not the best line in the league now, which was, I would say, insane, especially being we're CBJ fans. We're not used to anything resembling that. But that's your one line that has consistently worked, other than, I guess, the fourth line for some reason, which God knows how that's even working. But I think in order to get Fantilli going, you're just going to have to get healthier, because we already saw that breaking up that top line did not work. So why break it up again? Because it's already proven that it's not going to work. So are you trying to get no offense again? Or do you want some offense, at least from one line, and you just play with the other pieces that you have around, even though we are still injured to hell, especially with our key forwards? So that's what I think. I just don't see a benefit of breaking up that top line right now. Now, once we get healthy with if Clint Johnson comes back, then you can maybe explore that. But at this moment in time, the only other piece that you can really put on that top line, if you, let's say you just take Chinnikov off again and put him with Fantilli, the only other choice, you only have two choices. You have Voronkov, who's played a total of 3 games, or you have Cole Sillinger, where it kind of works, but it really didn't. And you could tell that he was not Chinnikov on that line. So that's my thoughts. If we can get Kent Johnson back by December, we can revisit this, and maybe my opinion has changed. So now, mediator. Yeah.
Mediator, yeah, middle ground. Honestly, I mean, you guys both made good points. Like a lot of pretty much the solid points that I would agree on both sides. On the topic of no, like you are injured right now, and like you're missing Boone Jenner, you're missing Kent Johnson, and maybe if both of those are in the lineup, you have room to like really get into what Gabe is saying, which is that like mixing and matching and seeing who works with who, giving young players maybe a little more opportunity on either a matchup line or outside of matchups. I will throw in maybe a different tact on splitting up the line. And I don't think it's going to happen. I should say, I don't think that line's going to break up after they played like they did in San Jose. Marchenko moved off of that line. My thought, Chinnikov on the right side on that line. Sillinger moved up with that line. Sillinger has some decent chemistry up there. He's fine enough for it. And you can kind of have a two-way matchup line then. I think that's a decent two-way matchup line. And then you talk about getting Fantilli unlocked. And you talk about having Fantilli, giving Fantilli like some players where maybe you can push him into focusing on that team aspect instead of having to create individually. Voronkov on the left side, Marchenko on the right side. Line worked last year in spurts, had some nice flashes. You have a player who really grinds it out in the corners and who can do the front of the net. And you have Marchenko, who is a good enough goal scorer that Fantilli can kind of lean on and go, okay, I'll make these passes and I'll make these plays and we'll see if they work. That would be that's kind of my soft yes. Is I'd like to see Marchenko tried away from Monahan at some point. And to White's point, like, it doesn't have to happen now. It doesn't have to happen on this road trip. Like, Kent Johnson comes back at the end of the month. If he does,
then yeah, you can explore it.
Maybe you wait till then so you can put Kent Johnson up there on the first line. Chinnikov, Monahan, Johnson sounds like a blast. Kent Johnson.
No, Jack Johnson first line.
I like the implication. I like the implication that Jack Johnson has not only 37-year-old Jack Johnson has now converted into a forward.
He did change his stick. Jody Shelley keeps mentioning.
Hey, did you know that Jack Johnson changed his stick? Just like Zach Werenski.
Jack Johnson changed his stick. You see how heavy his shot
Jody,
is now?
It's been the exact same as it has been for 15 years. But yeah, I still think, like, let's get some forwards back. And then we can really go into the meat and potatoes of trying to figure out what lines we would like to see. But yeah, I think Chinnikov, Monahan, Kent Johnson, holy crap. All that two-way skill. Jesus. That would be a nightmare.
Sounds tasty.
Yeah, Ken Johnson with his new pace with that new pace driven with Chinnikov.
Oh, dude, I want to see. I just want to see Ken Johnson and Chinnikov at that point because both of them can just both of them have very fast acceleration. Chinnikov can just take off like the wind, and if he's ready to like receive some wild errant passes and convert them into just like massive howitzers, that could be fun. I don't even know if it's good,
the off the
but
board
it's
passes
fun.
that you see people do on occasion. Just do Kent Johnson. That's all he has to do with Chinnikov. If he gets Chinnikov going at full speed, just do that. Because nobody's.
See, and you said it. You said it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good, but it's fun.
And
I think that's what we want.
Because we have had nothing. We have anything but fun the past 3 years. Yeah.
Yes, please.
The misery.
I guess one more point before we go to injuries and our prospects. Has Jurček done enough to stay in? I have no freaking clue, but I would say yes, most likely. I haven't seen anything like glaringly bad that he's done, other than I did see the penalty he took in San Jose, which was hilarious. the Granlund cell job. That was hilarious.
Bro, that was nuts.
He's just like,
Jurček looked so depressed by it too. He was just like, done.
But now to some injuries. We already touched on Kent Johnson and then Boone and Branson. Lindstrom is skating in full equipment now. He's going to be evaluated at the end of our road trip. And if he's good to go, he's going to be shipped out to Medicine Hat, hopefully. And where he can just go terrorize teenagers. So, yeah, go bully a bunch of kids.
Go bully a bunch of kids.
Just make sure your back's in check.
Go for it. I dominate that.
Yep.
Just beat the crap out of the
Gavin Brimley is continuing to skate, and he definitely should be close. If Voronkov is already in the lineup, that means Brimley should be like a week or two behind him. So he's probably going to start in Cleveland. As much as I would like to see him at least a game or two, put him with Fantilli and see if something happens. It probably won't happen. Yeah.
Let's just wait until the end of the year.
It doesn't truly matter.
Let's just wait until the end of the year.
And hopefully he'll give Cleveland a boost because they badly need it. And then...
Oh, yeah, no.
I guess technically this could be part of the segue to our pipeline is Matejchuk. Well, I guess he spilled the tea. He already lives with Brindley in Cleveland, which is pretty hilarious, especially being Brindley hasn't even been activated or assigned to Cleveland, so he's technically living with someone who's not supposed to be there, but is supposed to be there. Yeah.
I mean, he can live in Cleveland if he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I live in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's
and
a
commute
great
to
drive.
Columbus.
Great daily drive.
Yeah.
So that will just a nice segue to the pipeline in the AHL. Jet Grease finally got his first win of the season. It took a while. It's not been a good start at all. God, what his stats aren't even good either. It's like 3.5 goals against and like 8 something.
To be fair,
there's not much.
Look at the people he has to play with.
It's not last year's Monsters, that is for sure. Well, yeah, last year's Monsters was a wagon.
.886 save percentage and a 4.68 goals
That's
against
rough.
average in 5 games so far. Not great. We're in a little bit of a struggle.
Matejchuk got 2. Actually, he got 3 assists because they played tonight. So he's got 3 assists and is a +5, which means he now has 7 points in 9 games, which is, I'd say, pretty good for a rookie D, especially in the AHL. A goal and assist.
He actually had a goal and an assist tonight. Yeah, they lost 4-2.
So basically, he was just the only
assist,
offensive.
And then he scored the second goal for them. That's kind of what he's been. He's the only defense.
Yeah, Corson Kuhlman is just
on that team right now. He never appeared. Honestly, let's be real. He never, since being drafted.
The Badgers.
I blame the Badgers.
Screwed him.
I blame the Badgers. I already hate the Badgers. The Badgers because they took my goddamn coach. In terms of college football, I don't need more reason to hate the Badgers, but them having just absolutely ruined the CJ prospect, that's plenty of good reasons to still hate the Badgers.
But yeah, Roman Akon or Akon. Ashan. Sorry. He doesn't have an he only has an AHL deal, but 7 goals in 8 games. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Another Badger. Another former Badger right there. Yeah, he's.
Well, still, I mean, that's
like
still pretty good.
26, I think. Former college kid.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, and then Del Bel Blues still at 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points in 8 games. Did he get anything tonight? He did not. So that means he is below point per game now.
He had. Yeah, he had 2 shots on goal though, but a -1.
Yeah.
So take that for what it is.
It is.
I mean, it's expected. I don't know how much you guys have tracked Del Bel Blues.
He goes hot and then he goes cold and then he goes hot and then he goes
maybe
cold.
the streakiest prospect we have right now. To be honest,
one person that is definitely not being streaky though is Luca Morelli. Holy crap!
Oh yeah.
In Oshawa, the Oshawa Generals. That is that this? Yeah, in the CA.
Usher got healthy. This is not a matter of him getting overplayed.
He has 9.
He's 9, 14, and 23 as a
16 games. That's
in.
And he's
how many
he's not an over.
Oh my
is
god,
he an
was in the
overager now?
OHL Defenseman of the Month.
Yep. He's actually 9, 15,
Oh, okay.
And 24
He just decided to get another assist.
Updated. So in 17 games. So he had a point tonight as well. He is leading the team in points. He's leading Oshawa in points. He is leading. He's second in goals.
Sorry. Yeah.
My boy. Yeah. Third rounder. Nice. Maybe there.
Yeah.
Maybe something.
Maybe something.
Yeah, and then
Maybe something,
Gardner,
maybe nothing.
goalie prospect, got blown the hell up. He allowed 10 goals on 60 shots faced, which is good enough for a whopping, what is that, 600? Is it 600 save percentage? Something. No, it's not much
it's
better,
not
though.
That. It's
Odd.
but it's 50 over 60, which is that's 5 over 6. That is 8.
That's still pretty bad.
3.
Yeah.
That is very bad.
Yeah, that's not good. That will crush your numbers pretty quickly there. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all we have for the farm. Not a whole lot going on, honestly.
Yeah, I did want to bring up the other
Yes,
Luca.
all of the
third
Lucas.
Luca in the group here, because we talked about
We got a full-on Italian restaurant going in here.
Yeah, full handle Lucas. Luca Pinelli, the little Spitfire from playing with Ottawa in.
It's an EO, yeah.
Spitfire, no, it's a 67.
It's in the O, yeah.
Spitfire, no, the Spitfires are from elsewhere. They're
no, he's not
with
Ottawa.
Windsor.
He's in Ottawa.
Yeah, it's the Ottawa 67s.
Ottawa's the 67s.
Yeah.
He said he called him. I think you called him.
Yeah, he said Ottawa.
Did I say this?
Spitfire,
I said Ottawa, right?
Yeah, you said
Ottawa.
you said he was with Ottawa, but you called him a Spitfire.
Well, he just said he's a fire little Spitfire.
I mean, maybe I did.
That
honestly.
was a bad joke. That was not caught on as
Damn
a
you,
bad
Dave.
joke.
Damn you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, went over my head. I'm only 5'9", man. I can't reach jokes that high.
Dang, I must be tall because I'm 5'11". Oh yeah.
Dude, giant compared to me.
yeah.
Luca Pinelli put up 3 points tonight. He's started slow. He started like point per game,
yeah.
which is quote unquote slow. But he's kind of been turning it up lately. So we'll see if he can kind of bring it back, because he's still behind his pace from last season.
Yeah, I think the better question with a guy like him is just like, which guys in our system do you guys think have the capability to bring in that offense, or bring in what they're doing to a
Apparently Morelli.
to an NHL level, because you can
If Morelli can keep that up.
I don't know how much faith I
but
have
it's
in Morelli.
fun.
I will admit I haven't watched him too much yet. Pinelli could. The thing that I'm a little bit leery on with Pinelli. I like Pinelli. He is one of my favorites in the system. Is he really hasn't adjusted well or developed well at the camps from what I've seen. He's kind of just not been able to really play the same game. And to be fair, his offensive game at the junior level is he's a breakaway merchant. He's a cherry picking breakaway merchant who just he gets broken free on a breakaway, and he scores. So I don't know. Pinelli could.
Yeah, Morelli could.
Morelli could.
If he keeps that up,
got the tools too.
I mean, that's.
I think it's just not a matter.
Well,
it's
yeah,
not just a matter of
obviously.
scoring, right?
Yeah.
Because
It's about
If
style.
yeah, you can have a lot of guys who are going to be unremarkable, I guess. I think that's one way of putting it compared to other top prospects. But who are going to be capable of being guys who can play in the NHL because they have certain expected advantages. I think that's one way of putting it. Or they know how to play.
They have certain
or they play in a
attributes.
certain way, or certain attributes. Yeah, one of the things that really sticks out to me is and this is with a much higher level dude, but Mo Sider. Mo Sider only fell that much because a lot of people thought he did not have that much offense in him, but he was being asked to play a very significant shutdown role as a very responsible defenseman on a pro league. And that is something that you have to take into consideration. Yep. Where are your prospects playing? If this is a guy who's being asked to play a shutdown role in the SHL, how the second virtual
Light it
guy
up
is
in the
being asked to
OHL. Yeah.
like get on 1,000 breakaways and light up the, I don't know, he's in the queue or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, go ahead, bury like 50 goals against these people who don't know how to
You know what I just
play
thought
defense.
of? Imagine prime Nathan McKinnon in Halifax.
What? Oh,
He would get like 8 points per game.
It would be
at least.
Yeah.
Why are you saying? Okay. I'm thinking you were saying like 25-year-old Nathan McKinnon against a bunch of teenagers.
Yeah.
Cup winner,
just, like,
cup winner,
that'd be
100-point
insane.
Nathan McKinnon against.
Dude, he's
Yeah.
built like a
He'd
silverback
crush it.
gorilla.
Yeah.
He's built like a silverback gorilla. He would throw out a check, and somebody would just start ragdolling, like they're like flying away, ragdolling and crashing, causing like collision issues, like they're in a Gmod video. Okay, this is the situation that we were talking about right now. Someone would actually phase through the
or
walls.
just go through the glass entirely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we're just talking about current
That'd be
prospects.
Funny. That'd be funny.
In our system currently, I'd say the only ones that might have NHL projections, Matejchuk, obviously, Ivanov, potentially, and then Luka Delbel-Beluz, maybe. That's the only three I could currently think of. Everyone else is just... Oh, Lindstrom, of course. Brindley too.
Gavin Brindley.
Gavin Brindley.
Yeah, Gavin Brindley too.
Don't forget my boy.
But everyone from this last draft, other than Lindstrom, we don't know. So.
I mean, everybody we've drafted
Big
a bunch
mobile
of hulking,
defensemen. Yeah.
6'3", 6'4", like right D who don't really do too much beyond Morelli. Morelli's the only one with any real offensive upside in that group. So
in theory, Alec could be something, but he's not showing much yet.
I mean, he
That's
could be like
fine.
a Labushkin, and that's acceptable. Yeah, like
That's
if he
fine,
plays regular minutes, then we're if he turns into like Andrew Peak, but Andrew Peak on a good team, like regardless
Andrew
of your
Peak, but
thoughts
good.
on Andrew Peak, like you're playing him. Yeah, you're playing.
Oh,
Third
you mean we're
pairing,
not going
like
to shove him
you're
with
okay,
Werenski and
like you're happy with
see
him?
if it works?
You don't like
No.
that? I mean, I could think about it. No. No, I don't like judging goaltenders anyways. I definitely think our farm system, and we can get into this on a different episode a little deeper.
No, I'm doing this on this episode because I just look at the time that we have, and we have like 30 minutes if we want to, like 20 minutes if we want to get to an hour and a half.
Play around with.
I think this episode shouldn't be too long though.
Yeah. I'll just finish the thought real quick, where I think that our farm system, compared to where maybe we thought it was after like the last Yarmo draft, because a lot of those like high like risk draft picks, Dumais, Pinelli, Whitelaw, Strathman, just really haven't gone anywhere. It's looking a little thin
For high
it's
end,
looking
yeah.
a little thin in the farm right now, but also, like, I mean, if you have Brindley, Delbel-Beluz, Lindstrom, Matejchuk, and like even just Elik from the last draft,
That's pretty
like,
solid.
turn into NHLers, like
I think
that's not bad.
I think
Like,
another
that's
problem that
like
we
5
have
players.
also is we also have graduated Kent Johnson, Juracek, Fantilli, Sillinger,
Sillinger.
Voronkov, Marchenko, Chinikov, Putia. We've had a lot of people graduate, so.
Yep.
All due respect to Putia, when Johnson comes back, I want him down to DHL.
Yeah.
This is
I
not
think he
like
just
an
needs
indictment
to
on
go
him.
down there, so that way he
He's
can
just
maybe get his scoring touch.
He needs to go. He needs to go. Not just the scoring touch, because he does have one. He did perform well in Liga. Part of it is just like, okay, you've gotten a taste of the NHL. You can do it. Can you take the next step and be an active contributor? contributor even at like a minimal level, and also in comparison to the other guys, who are we gonna send down? Danforth, no. Olivier, no. Corrali, you're gonna ship him off at the end of the year. Zach Ashton-Reese, also probably gonna get picked off. Jameson Roomstein, the only reason he's not gonna get picked off is because he's ancient. Or Kevin LeBlanc, is probably not gonna get picked off for a variety of reasons. But all of these guys need to go for waivers. Why would you send down any of them?
You don't need to.
No need to waste the assets.
I could honestly see JVR sticking around for the year. Honestly.
I could, yeah. I think we'll keep one or two of the guys up to the trade deadline.
I don't see him getting traded. Also, we
can't trade off everyone.
Just sell off everyone.
Roster, yeah.
We still need 2 ice.
And I think
we still need 2 ice players, okay? And there's going to be still 20 games.
I also think JVR enjoys being here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Maybe not after that scratch. He
came back
in the matchup against his brother.
Yeah.
He did. And performed well. Like
But yeah, I don't mind his game. It's just he's slow.
He's just old. He's slow. He doesn't do.
But he still has it in front of the net, though.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's still got the hands. I don't know, and you do have to consider, you don't want to, and especially because it looks like Cleveland's going to be kind of up and down this year anyways. They're probably going to be in that playoff fight towards the end of the year. You don't want to just completely bankrupt
unless they are
Cleveland. So you can
unless
pick up
they
a
are
fifth rounder
just not having it this year, then.
Yeah, true. I mean, if they look out of the playoffs, maybe you don't care. Maybe you call up an Owen Sillinger, or you give Trey Fix-Wolansky one more shot. A Roman Ashon.
One last try.
Sign Roman Ashon to a quick little 1-year deal at the end of the season.
Yeah,
see what he's
but
got.
I mean, I would say we could just save those for later episodes if we really want to get in depth.
Oh yeah. Really deep dive.
No, I'm doing this as an early one because we have the time to kill.
I want to go to bed. We just got
through a brutal week of hockey, and fair.
I mean, positive note.
Yeah,
fire sale seems to
think
be up, right? Like we've heard.
Well,
I think
that was also us just spitballing.
Yeah, well, we've heard from some pretty big rumor names that Don is still shopping, and that Don has not wanted to really trade picks, and it sounds like he's getting interest in these names that they're going to trade, probably going to trade at the deadline, and I think that's a positive note. I think that consistent message, along with Evanson's message, I think that's the consistency we've been needing.
Not switching every 5 seconds.
Exactly. That's the big positive for me this week, regardless of on ice record performance, or goals for and against. The consistency both with coaching and the GM and how things have been handled. I think that's a huge
My only 2 requirements for this season is
for sure.
Weaponize our cap for once and get what you can for what you're wanting to sell. That's it. But yeah.
Hashtag weaponize the cap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any other thoughts?
Put a cap in his ass.
And we're off here. Yeah.
Hey. 4 episodes. We made it, guys. We
All right, let's talk about the upcoming schedule.
We gotta cover
we should cover that real
rest
quick,
of the West Coast swing. This won't take too long though. So we're off till Saturday, November the 9th. We're against the Kings, who are 8-3-3 and are inconsistent as hell, I would say. One night they look at World Beers, next night they look like they're about to get decimated with the Oilers in round 1.
We're gonna have a.
They always look like they're gonna get decimated by the Oilers in round 1. That's the only thing they've ever done.
Last 3 years
straight. Last 3 years.
Yeah.
But
3,
it's
4
9
years or whatever.
Oh.
Yep.
All right. It's 9 p.m. Eastern time, so it's a little bit earlier this time. Thank God.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm expecting another loss against the Kings. We usually don't play very well against them.
It's also going to be extremely boring to watch.
Welcome to the Trap. They have definitely
Trap and hard forecheck.
Gone full in into the Trap. So I'm not expecting a fun game, but I'm also expecting a loss. I'm sure you guys are too. One that will be the next two might be interesting though. So it's going to be a back-to-back Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern time for puck drop. It will be the Anaheim Ducks, who are 4-6-2, and are kind of in the same position as us. But I would say we kind of know what we are trying to be. I have no fucking clue what Anaheim is still. And I don't think they do either.
Anaheim is us next year.
Yeah, they're trying to take that step, and right now it's a little bit of a struggle. We're so close to each other because of how we've drafted and like when we've been like rebuilding that we're in like very weird positions compared to each other. So of course we're gonna lose the game.
In OT because that's all we do against Anaheim.
Because...
and also I'm expecting a Leo Carlson hat trick because and then we have to listen to Fantilli's a bust, Fantilli's a bum, and all that crap.
Same points as LeBlanc.
What I want that game
That'd
is
be interesting.
Fantilli, Gordie Howe, Hattie.
But at the same time, I don't want him fighting.
Interesting. I like
That's Olivier's job. And then we got day off, and then Tuesday, November 12th, 10 p.m. Eastern Time puck drop. Gross. It's we're at Seattle, who is at a worryingly 5-8-1, which, considering the expectations, is not good at all. That's Nashville level. Nashville levels of worrying and Then again, when you build, it should be an interesting game, but when you build your entire team of second to third line players, I don't know what else you're going to expect.
On that note, we've heard some rumors around that Seattle might be shopping some of those one or two of those second, third line guys. And we got a GM maybe in the market to
take on
weaponize
some cap space.
Like that. So
some of the names that I've heard float around, I believe, are Yanni Gord, Alfred Bjorkstrand, some decent middle sixers that, get some assets out of them, and boom, there we go. But Seattle's they have to make a trade. I don't
know if there's
they don't have a choice. Also, they have too many forwards, and also
they have too many forwards.
Matty Beniers has not taken that next step.
No.
He struggled last year too.
He struggled last year too.
And
Bjorkstrand healthy.
I think it was yesterday.
Tonight, right? Was it yesterday? I think, or last game. Was it yesterday? Yeah, he's been healthy scratched recently.
It is very interesting.
Odd,
to say the least. Some Bjorky fans, I'm sure, with the Columbus Blue Jackets faithful.
I have no comment. Because I know if I do, I'll get shit on for it. So it's best to say nothing for me.
Oh, don't worry. If you
I know,
he
which is why I'm not saying anything.
He's awful. I hate him. I would never want him on my team.
I hated him when he was on the Blue Jackets. I don't want to see him again. Gets traded back to us. But I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Got 3 games next week. Actually, technically this week because we are currently in the week. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like what you see, consider subscribing to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. I think we're at 19 still, unfortunately, but I think we can get higher than that.
If you don't like what you see, listen
Exactly.
to us without looking directly at
Our
our
voices
faces.
sound a lot better than what we actually look like.
Face for radio.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not.
gorgeous. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
But yeah, also, if you are interested in our Discord, I'll leave a link down below. I'll also leave our Discord usernames in that channel, so that way if you want to say hi to us and ask some questions, you are more than welcome to. We'll try and respond as quickly as we can. We don't live there. We're not on 24/7. You kind of do, but at the same time, like, don't expect an immediate response. But yeah,
Yeah.
If you do, the first thing you must do is ping
Yes.
every single one of the mods
and see
every
how
5
long
minutes.
it takes before you get kicked out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we'll see you guys after those 3 games in a week's time, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll be above 500, maybe we'll be way below 500, and it's tank season. So, yeah.
What do you mean it's tank season? It's always been tank season.
Always been. Always has
Has
been.
a gun pointed to
Yep.
an astronaut. Yeah. A cannon, an astronaut.
And a cannon pointed at
Yeah. Well, I've been Wyatt. That's been Gabe. And that's been Scott.
I've been Gabe.
You are Scott. At least I think.
Scott.
You might be. You might.
Am I? Oh,
You might be
I don't know.
Zach.
Maybe I'll change
Yeah,
it.
you might be Zach.
You are the concept of Scott.
Yeah.
Maybe I could
Identity-
be Zach. Yeah,
identity
that's true.
theft.
I'm the only one with 2 names on this show
But yeah,
so far.
Vish might be back next week. So, little sneak peek. But
Might.
yeah, till next time.
We might get a few.
Yeah,
we might get a few
yeah.
other people
It's
on the
just
show
Vish,
besides
we'll-
Vish.
Fish, yeah.
So
Fish
we're no
wanted to be
longer
on
fishing for attention.
tonight, but basketball. So yeah, till next time. Have a great rest of your night, and peace out.